Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today that might just save you some years of pain and confusion. See, I've lived long enough, seen enough, and heard enough to know when a man is playing games and when he's being real. And if you ever hear a man say these 5 things, I'm telling you right now, don't pause, don't question it, just walk away. Recognizing red flags early can save you years of heartbreak. Now, let me break that down for you, because this right here might be the most important thing you hear all day. See, everybody wants love. Everybody wants companionship. We all want somebody to hold us down, to support us, to grow old with. But what a lot of people miss, especially early on, is that the signs, the warnings, the truth about who someone is, they show up from the start. You just got to be willing and strong enough to act on them. The problem is most people don't want to walk away when things feel good. They want to believe in potential. They want to give the benefit of the doubt. They want to be patient, understanding, forgiving, sometimes too forgiving. But let me tell you something. Being patient with the wrong person doesn't lead to peace. It leads to pain. Being loyal to someone who's showing you red flags doesn't make you love it. It makes you lost. You're investing in something that's telling you loud and clear, this is not it, but because it came in a nice package, or because you're afraid to be alone, or because you've been taught to stay no matter what, you ignore it. And that's how years get wasted. Red flags aren't always loud. Sometimes they're whisper. Sometimes it's that feeling in your gut when something just don't sit right. Sometimes it's the way he talks down to the waiter, or how he makes little jokes that cut deep. It's in how he apologizes only when he sees you pulling back, or how he shifts blame every time there's conflict. It's how he tells you he loves you but won't respect your boundaries. Those aren't small things. Those are warnings. And if you don't pay attention, they multiply. They get louder. They start to define the relationship. Now, here's where it gets real. You see, red flags are not there to scare you. They're not meant to harden your heart or make you bitter. They're there to guide you, to protect you, to give you clarity before you get too deep, before your emotions get so tangled that you forget how to breathe without them. If you ignore them, you're not just letting someone mistreat you. You're training yourself to tolerate what you once said you'd never accept. I know it can be confusing in the beginning. He's charming, sweet, says all the right things. You feel seen, heard, special. But then slowly the mask starts to slip. Maybe he ghosts you for a few days with no explanation. Maybe he makes promises he never keeps. Maybe he says one thing and does another. But because you felt that early connection, because you already started to picture a future, you minimize the problem. You say, maybe he's just going through something, or maybe I'm overthinking it. No, you're not. Your spirit knows. Your intuition is sounding the alarm for a reason. You need to trust it. When a man shows you a red flag, believe it. That's not being judgmental. That's being wise. That's choosing peace over potential. That's protecting your future over your feelings. Because let me tell you, every time you ignore a red flag, you're planting a seed of regret. And one day you'll wake up wondering how you got so far off course, how you lost yourself trying to keep someone who was never meant to stay. Ladies, you are not a rehab center for broken men. You are not a project. You are not someone's emotional punching bag while they figure it out. And men, this goes for you too. Don't ignore red flags in a woman because you're afraid to be alone. No amount of beauty, charm, or chemistry is worth your peace. The wrong person will drain you, distract you, and delay your destiny. So when the signs show up, don't explain them away. Don't silence your gut just to protect your heart. Your future self is begging you to see clearly. Love should feel safe. It should bring clarity, not confusion. And it should never come wrapped in warning signs you're too scared to face. Recognize the red flags. And when you do, respect yourself enough to walk away early. Words are a preview of intentions. Believe them the first time. Let me say that again so it sinks in. When a man tells you something, especially early on, believe him. Don't wait for actions to contradict the truth he already gave you with his own mouth. See, people will always reveal who they are, always. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's straight up bold, but if you're listening closely, they'll tell you everything you need to know about where they're headed and where they're not. The problem is, too many people hear what they want to hear instead of what's being said. When someone says, I'm not ready for a relationship, they mean that. That's not a challenge. That's not an invitation to prove you're the one who can change them. That's not your cue to wait around hoping one day they'll wake up and realize you're worth it. No, that man just told you what his intentions are, or rather what they aren't. He's telling you, don't expect more from me. But what happens? You hear the word yet in your mind. You think he's not ready right now, but maybe if I stick around, he'll be ready for me. And then what happens? Time goes by. You give and give. You pour into someone who already warned you not to expect anything back. And when it all falls apart, you're left wondering what went wrong. Nothing went wrong. You just didn't believe him the first time. The people speak their truth, but we twist it in our minds to match our hopes. You want a relationship, but he says, I'm just having fun. So instead of walking away, you start thinking, maybe I can make fun turn into love. You want commitment, but he says, let's keep it casual. So you agree to something that doesn't sit right with your spirit, hoping it'll eventually grow into something deeper. But let me tell you, somebody's casual phase should never be your sacrifice zone. You are not here to convince someone to choose you. That's not love, that's negotiation. That's not dating, that's gambling. And love ain't supposed to feel like a gamble. Now let's talk about those smooth talkers. The ones who always say the right thing. You're the one I've been waiting for. I've never felt this way before. I can see myself marrying you someday. Now, there's nothing wrong with romantic words, don't get me wrong. But words without consistent action, that's a performance, not a promise. Anybody can say sweet things. Anybody can talk about forever. But when someone's actions don't line up with their words, you better believe the inconsistency is the truth. Don't fall in love with a man's potential vocabulary. Pay attention to his follow-through. We get ourselves in trouble when we put more weight on the fantasy than the facts. You can't build a relationship on poetic words and sweet texts at 2 a.m. If his words tell you he's not looking for anything serious, that's not just a sentence. That's a roadmap. He's telling you the direction he's headed. And if your destination is different, don't sit in that passenger seat hoping he'll change his route. Get out. Save yourself the ride to nowhere. Ladies and gentlemen, when someone reveals their values, their priorities, their truth, listen, don't wait for the third or fourth time they say it. Don't think your love can rewrite their intentions. A person who respects you will not confuse you. They will not make you question what they want. They won't say, I don't know what I want, then expect you to give them everything while they figure it out. That's not romantic. That's reckless. And it's not your job to wait for someone to grow into the partner you deserve. Words are not just sounds. They are signs. They are clues. And too often we collect red flags like souvenirs, ignoring the truth those words are spelling out for us. Don't do it. Don't stay in a place where someone's honesty is staring you in the face and you keep hoping for a different script. If a man says he's not ready, believe him. If he says he can't give you what you want, believe him. If he tells you you're asking too much just for requiring respect, believe him and walk away. Words are the preview of what's coming next. If you don't like what they're telling you, don't stick around for the full story. A real man doesn't confuse you, he protects your peace. Now, I want you to sit with that for a moment because it's one of the deepest truths about relationships that many folks don't want to admit. You see, peace is the foundation of love. Without peace, everything else is just noise and chaos. When you're with the right person, your heart feels calm, your mind feels clear, and your spirit is free. You don't spend your days wondering what's really going on, guessing at their intentions, or trying to read between the lines like some kind of detective. No, a real man brings peace into your life. He doesn't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Too often, people confuse passion or excitement with peace, but they're not the same thing. Passion can come with drama, with tension, with fights and misunderstandings. That roller coaster of emotions can feel addictive, but in the long run, it wears you down. Peace is steady. Peace is knowing you're valued, respected, and cared for without having to question or chase it. A real man understands that protecting your peace means being honest, consistent, and reliable. It means showing up in a way that lifts you up instead of tearing you down. Think about it. If a man is constantly leaving you guessing, if he's hot one day and cold the next, if his words don't match his actions, that's confusion. And confusion is the enemy of peace. It breeds anxiety, self-doubt, and mistrust. No one should have to live in a relationship where they feel uncertain about where they stand or what to expect. That's not love. A real man knows that his words have power. He uses them to build you up, not to keep you off balance. When he makes a promise, he keeps it. When he says he'll be there, he shows up. When he cares, he demonstrates it clearly and consistently. You don't have to guess what he means because he tells you plainly. He doesn't play mind games or keep you on your toes trying to figure him out. Instead, he values your peace more than his ego or his need to be right. Protecting your peace also means respecting your boundaries. A real man won't push you to do things you're uncomfortable with just to satisfy himself. He listens when you say no. He honors your feelings and doesn't try to manipulate you into changing your mind. He understands that love is about mutual respect and that peace comes from feeling safe and secure in the relationship. If a man tries to blur your boundaries or make you question your worth, that's a huge red flag. That's not protecting your peace. That's destroying it. And here's something else that gets overlooked. Protecting your peace means he's not going to bring unnecessary drama into your life. A real man doesn't stir the pot just to see how you react. He doesn't gossip or create conflicts out of thin air. Instead, he seeks harmony. When problems arise, he faces them head on with maturity and calm, rather than avoiding them or making things worse. He's a problem solver, not a problem creator. That stability is peace in action. Now, let me be clear. No relationship is perfect. There will be disagreements, misunderstandings, and hard days. But a real man's goal isn't to avoid every bump in the road. That's impossible. His goal is to walk through those bumps with you, to work together toward a place of understanding and healing instead of adding confusion and chaos. When the dust settles, you still feel safe, you still feel valued, you still feel peace. If you find yourself constantly stressed, anxious, or walking on eggshells around a man, that's a signal that your peace is being sacrificed. And it doesn't matter how good the sex is, how charming he can be, or how much history you share. Peace is the non-negotiable foundation. Without it, the relationship will crumble, no matter how much you want it to work. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the truth. Love is supposed to feel like a refuge, a safe place where your soul can breathe. It's not supposed to leave you drained, confused, or questioning your own sanity. If a man truly cares for you, he will protect your peace like it's his own. Because when your peace is intact, the relationship can grow strong and deep. But when your peace is shattered, everything else falls apart. So don't settle for confusion masquerading as mystery or excitement. Don't accept drama disguised as passion. A real man will never make you feel less than whole or peaceful. He will never leave you wondering what's real. He will be your calm in the storm, your steady rock, your safe harbor. That's what it means to protect your peace. And if a man can't do that for you, then he's not the man for you. Remember, protecting your peace isn't just about how he treats you, it's about how he makes you feel deep down. If you walk away from a conversation feeling more confused than clear, more worried than secure, more anxious than calm, that's not love. That's a warning. And a real man won't be the source of that warning. He'll be the answer to your prayers for peace. You deserve that kind of love. You deserve a man who respects your mind, your heart, and your spirit enough to keep your peace safe. And when you find that kind of man, hold on tight, because that's a treasure worth more than all the words and promises in the world. Empty promises and excuses are not signs of love, they're signs to leave. Now listen carefully, because this is something many people get wrong, and it costs them dearly in the long run. When someone truly cares about you and respects you, their words line up with their actions. They don't just tell you what you want to hear, they show it. But when a man starts building castles out of empty promises, when his words sound sweet but his actions vanish like smoke, that's not love. That's deception, and you should never settle for being fooled by it. Promises have power. When a man says, "I'll call you tomorrow," or "I'm going to be there for you," those words create an expectation. They set a standard. And when those promises are broken time and time again, what you're really getting is a pattern of disrespect. Because love isn't just about what you say, it's about what you do when no one's watching. If he tells you he's going to change, but nothing ever changes, if he says he wants to be with you, but his actions say otherwise, don't mistake that for love. That's a man making excuses to stay comfortable without putting in the work. Excuses are the mask of empty promises. When a man explains why he didn't call, why he was late, why he forgot something important, listen carefully, because excuses are often a way to avoid responsibility. They're a shield against accountability. And if you keep accepting excuses, what you're really doing is teaching him that it's okay to treat you like an option, a backup plan, or a convenience. But you are not a convenience. You are a priority. And anyone who consistently makes excuses for not treating you right is telling you that you're not one. Think about it. When you truly care about someone, you make time, you show up, you follow through. It doesn't matter if you're tired, busy, or stressed. If the relationship matters to you, you find a way. But when a man repeatedly lets you down with promises that never materialize, it's not because he's too busy or overwhelmed. It's because he's not as invested as he should be. And no matter how much you want to believe he will come around, no matter how much you pray or hope, if the pattern continues, it's a clear sign to step back. One of the hardest things about empty promises is how they mess with your heart and mind. They build you up just enough to keep you hanging on, hoping for the day when he'll finally keep his word. But that day often never comes. Instead, you end up exhausted, frustrated, and emotionally drained. You start doubting yourself, wondering if you're asking for too much, if you're being unreasonable. Let me tell you right now, you're not. Wanting honesty, respect, and consistency is not too much to ask. It's the bare minimum in any relationship worth having. You deserve someone whose yes means yes and whose no means no. Someone who doesn't leave you guessing or waiting. Someone who understands that love is more than words. It's effort, it's reliability, it's showing up when it matters. If a man can't give you that, then he's not the man for you. No amount of charm, smooth talk, or promises for the future can make up for the reality of how he treats you today.